Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine. I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo.
Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment in court.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
The government, states, they start putting these RICO acts on Diddy, all of these guys, and try to put it on these ongoing criminal organizations. I ain't never seen the government put a RICO act on the KKK.
Switch happened. Come on, man. You got to acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened.
If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
I think when it comes to the woman, if a man takes charge and he shows that he's logical,
same people. That's the number two. That's all theater. This is WWF.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. No, I can't go in there. No.
Congratulations, the sales job is yours.
Oh, no English.
Está bien.
No.
My name is Miss B, and I am a drag queen.
She's eating a dog.
The Second Amendment has been abolished. Give me all your guns.
I'm completely fine with that.
No.
Now I have more time to brush up on my new favorite book, The Communist Manifesto.
Fuck that! Oh my god!
Here's your plan B.
Thank you. My body, my choice.
It certainly is.
No.
Yay!
No. Dude, she has to fucking shave.
Stay down.
No! Shave! Just fucking, where's the exit?
Are you vaccinated?
Oh my god, where's the fucking exit?
Your booster.
Wow, that was so awesome.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Doc.
And we got a special
Simple Black Theory.
We got a special guest, Simple Black Theory. And Simple Black Theory actually debated Charlie Kirk. I'm going to play a few minutes of this clip of him debating Charlie Kirk.
I do think you have to answer the question. Why does skin color matter at all in hiring? Answer that question. Why does skin color matter?
So
if we look at basketball, because you love talking about that, right? Can we both agree that at one point there was no black athletes, and then what happens? They diversified.
We got rid of forced segregation, which is a form of DEI.
And that diversified the basketball,
because
right?
it was based on merit.
Was it diversified?
Yes, but not by
Thank
force.
you
No, hold on a second.
very much.
Hold on, but if your argument is that if you want to make things more merit-based, then let's do it.
It is more merit-based.
Hold on a second.
They made it diversifying. They diversified basketball, bringing black people who are good in it.
Nothing you're
making it
saying.
diverse.
Nothing you're saying is making any sense.
Okay, I bet.
Because what they did,
Of course
is
you don't.
the NBA went to pure merit, pure excellence. Are you good at this? That's all they cared about.
They allowed black people in, right?
Exactly, because prior.
Okay, then.
Hold on. Because you know what they had prior was a form of racial stereotyping. And you want more racial stereotyping. Your worldview is indecipherable from the KKK.
So
what you want, it's indecipherable because you are race obsessed. I am not race obsessed.
No, you are,
talk
though.
about the race. You talk
are,
about race
though.
more than the Grand Wizard of the KKK. Because
I'm
you,
the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
well, think about it. I said your worldview. Think about it.
Yeah.
Because you're around talking about race all the time. I'm talking about character. Which of
You
us?
talk about race all the time. You literally said DEI is based on race, but it's not.
Because
It's
I'm
DEIA
explaining.
with accessibility.
Man, you're getting
meaning-
really upset.
My bad,
You
you're
should
right,
take
because
a
you keep
pause.
lying. For instance, right? I've been trying to say this. DI, one part of DI is literally giving women tampons or pads at work. Oh, yeah, you're laughing because you don't know that.
Giving women tampons is a form of DEI.
Yes, it is. You know why? Let me explain. Yeah, y'all know. I got you. I'm about to explain to you guys. So basically what happens is, the reason why we have DEI is the fact that in a job location, right, they want to hire more people diverse. So what these initiatives, these goals, these aspirations that they're doing is trying to bring more people in. For instance, like if what's that store? Trader Joe's, right? They let people sit down while they they bring stuff in. They help disability. That's DI. That helps disabled people get a job at Trader Joe's. But what you're telling me is that we are not allowed to tell people that for like onboarding in itself is also DEI. When they explain to you sexual harassment, when they do all these things, when they make it more a safer place, that is DEI. And what you're saying is that the workplace shouldn't be safe. What you're saying is that more companies should have discrimination lawsuits.
Let's get back
That's what DEI
let's
stop.
get back
Discrimination lawsuits.
DEI is racial quotas. End of story.
Give me one racial quota.
United
Give me one.
Airlines.
I Googled that.
So
go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh,
I
you
Googled it.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So
go ahead, continue.
What did United Airlines announce? Because you know what I said about black pilots. What did they announce when it came to pilots? And why should skin color matter when you board an airplane?
So just remind everybody, it's Charlie Kirk's idea. He basically, stop talking. So Charlie Kirk basically,
that's very misogynist. That's not very DEI of you.
All right, let me finish cooking. So, right. So, can I finish? So, Charlie Kirk said that they're basically hiring women of color to make 40 or 50%, right? But when you actually look into it, what happens is
women and people of color.
Right, women and people of color. What happens is they're creating a program that's allowing women to train and become pilots. If you actually look at the requirements for these programs, it's nothing different than any other program that trains pilots. But you told people that they're just hiring women when that's not true.
First of all, I never said that.
Well, Gus playing right here. We'll play that again at the end. More of Simple Black Theory debate Charlie Kirk. Simple Black Theory. What was it like debating Charlie Kirk? And how do you feel? You know that he's no longer with us. You're muted. You're muted. Simple.
You're muted. You're muted.
My bad. First thing I want to say is, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
First thing I want to say is thank you guys so much for this opportunity to join the Man Cave. You know, I feel real hyped to join you guys in this conversation. But when we talk about Charlie Kirk, it was almost a submit because it was like going to a KKK rally with a whole bunch of people who had the same process, and there was children there listening to this man spew these lies and people cheering him, and me being looking like the bad guy. It almost felt surreal because it was like finally seeing someone who sat next to Donald Trump. I finally was speaking to someone who has this mindset of these evil thoughts that's coming to fruition. It was an opportunity to finally show that he doesn't know as much as he thought he did, and to show that moment was that I would always like cherish, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, what we're going to talk about tonight, which things are still being affected, is basically ICE.
Hold on, let me ask you one more question though. I want to ask you one more question because this is what people ask a lot. Do you think he gave you a fair shake, like a fair head-to-head in debate? Besides the crowd, do you think he gave you a fair head-to-head?
Hell no. Hell, first of all, what I say was in the beginning, before the debate, he didn't want to debate me. He didn't want to debate anybody that was there. In fact, he like took me and a group of other people and removed us from the event. So when I stood there for like 3 or 4 hours, like just heckling him, just saying, "Yo, Charlie, you trash. Charlie, you think? Come debate me. Come debate me." He finally debated me, but he was almost playing my intelligence. I wasn't smart enough. So when we was having this conversation, he would like every time I asked him a question, he didn't want to answer it, and he would throw a question to me just to try to divert what I'm asking him. Like one question I asked him was, exactly what DI is. Like, did he read the document? He says no. So then I try to explain it to him. He wants to change it. It just proves that he didn't know what he's talking about. He just talks about talking points that he learned from MAGA or learned from the extreme right, if that makes sense.
All right, just curious.
For sure, makes sense. Well, I'm gonna play this clip about what's going on in Chicago.
One woman who actually lives in this building, and she says she was detained by ICE agents overnight, and she says they took everyone and then asked questions later.
They just treated us like we were nothing.
Patricia Fisher says she came out to the hallway of her apartment complex on the corner of 75th and South Shore Drive in her nightgown around 10 Monday night, only to find ICE agents yelling police.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no, I didn't.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for
Simple Black Theory. I saw you made a video about this. How do you feel about the ICE raids? Do you feel like the black community is going to be affected?
Oh, most definitely. Talk about ICE. A lot of people think that it's only gonna affect like the Hispanic community, Mexican, from Venezuela. But what we need to understand is that these people, these undocumented migrants, I call them Americans because it's fucking now. But when we talk about these undocumented Americans, they live in the hoods as these black people. So when they get affected, we get affected too. And we seen it in Chicago. They attacked that building because they said that there were Venezuelan cartel members there. They only found there. They arrested 37 people, but they detained almost everyone in that building. So yes, it's a connection between black people and ICE when it comes to them neighborhoods and attacking, because when we talk about undocumented migrants or undocumented Americans, they're not Hispanic people. They don't have white skin. They're going to be Haitians. They're going to be Jamaicans, people from Nigeria. People don't peep that. They almost think that, oh, black people are not going to be phased, but we're seeing it in Chicago, and it's not going to be the only place. They're doing it in Miami too. Like I just had a meeting with a group of people that's telling me that they went to a neighborhood, North Miami. Mind you, it's full of Haitians there. I went to North Miami Senior High, 98% Haitian population there, and they're removing these individuals there. Mind you, most of these people that are getting arrested, criminal records. I think over 80% of people that are getting arrested or detained don't have criminal violations. Anything that is considered a criminal violation was overstaying their visas here, which is bullshit to me.
Doc, what about you?
I think the trouble comes in because if you know you breaking the rules and you get caught, you caught. But my thing is, I always wonder how much information ICE has going in, like, because there's certain rules to detaining people. You have to have reasonable articulable suspicion. You have to have like certain things to just detain any American. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to detaining, my issue comes into like people who like aren't here legally with papers. Like, have you attempted the process? Have you gotten to it? And then it gets into, you know, like are you gonna be here and be capable, like help America? Like, you know, you can sign up for the military. You're not conscripted to certain things. Like when we turned 18, you had to do selective service if you wanted, you know, to sign up for school and get, you know, help for school and stuff like that. Like it's just certain things that they do miss. They do bring something to the country. But my thing is, if you know you breaking the rules and you get caught, yo, I can't get, you know, when I get my hand caught in the jar, I can't really be upset.
But see, look, but here's my thought. It's like what we have to understand is that majority of the people that are undocumented migrants are people that their visas, and it takes months or sometimes years to even renew those visas. I have my mother who had a green card, and for her to renew her, she's a citizen now. She just became a citizen last year. But when she had to renew her green card, it took when she became a citizen, it took almost 2 years for that process to happen. So now we're dealing with the Trump administration, who all of a sudden is doing is mass deportation. So you have people who's actually going to facilities trying to renew their green card, do this the right way, but are getting detained trying to do it. And mind you, most of these people that are getting detained, they're not. Donald Trump told all these Americans, hey, we're going to detain the criminals. So that's the first people we're going to get. But majority that they're taking are not criminals. They're people that's working hard just as much as us. But the idea that doing something wrong is an unfair thing, because the system that makes them citizens is already, if you really think about it.
So I agree in some instances, right? I know some people do. Everyone's gonna have circumstances and everything, but we had a guy who we watched a clip on last week. He was a superintendent of a school district. He had overstayed his student visa by 10 years. He was making $280,000 at his job. And when they found him, because he knew that his visa was no good, he fled a company-owned vehicle that was owned by the school district. He had a firearm on him.
His expired last year.
He had a student visa. He didn't even have a work visa.
No. He did renew his visa was expired last year, and he didn't renew it. And the reason why I know this, he had weapons, but when he purchased those weapons, he did have a legalized citizenship, but he did have a legal visa when he purchased it. But it was until last year when it was no longer accessible, and the visa expired. So that's when he got detained this year.
But even if his visa expired last year, Theory, he riding around with 30 grand in the Glock in the school board car.
But
we
look,
can't give him no pass for that now.
Though.
We can't give him no pass for that now. Come on.
What you mean? So you're telling me we're in America when the Second Amendment right, where we have the right to bear arms. This man was legal last year, and he purchased his weapons, and there's no criminal using these weapons illegally. So what's wrong with a superintendent having an arm? People are telling we need teachers and bodyguards in schools. So now we have a with a firearm. That's wrong.
If they change the law tomorrow and you did something today that was illegal tomorrow, you broke the law. And if you take that chance and you get caught, you just take the chance and get caught.
All right, let's get Heaven in this conversation. I'm gonna play the video you reacted to, Theory. This guy blames Joe Biden for why the migrants are in black neighborhoods.
I'm pissed off because a lot of people out there are acting like they don't understand what is actually happening in the city of Chicago in regards to the ICE raids. Let me tell you something. Black people, again, are collateral damage in this. And all the black people that are getting mad at ICE and Donald Trump, hold on, you got to get mad at the politicians right here locally, because it was the politicians right here in your city that decided to dump the migrant issue on the black community like they do every single time. When they came across the border and checked asylum, they were able to come over into our city and get incentives like medical care, 6 months free rent, free transportation, free child care. We fed them each and every day. And those people that they were giving assistance to, They didn't go up to the north side and to the white community. All of the people out there protesting that are white, they didn't open up their doors for them, and they didn't want none of the shelters on their neighborhood. Guess where they opened up the shelters? In the black community. Those same school buildings that they shut down in 2013 that were educating black kids, they took those school buildings and they made them migrant shelters. And then they gave over $700 million to a company out in Florida to manage those shelters. They took the buildings that you've been asking for to be developed and build new housing, and they made them into migrant homes, giving them 6 months of free rent. They dumped the problem on black community like they do every single time. When it was George Floyd riots, they closed downtown and pushed people to loot into the neighborhoods because they knew that people didn't care. Where was all the people right now? They weren't in our neighborhoods helping us open up back up our businesses. They were not in our neighborhoods helping us clean up. They weren't in our neighborhoods when we were fighting for Laquan McDonald, who was shot 16 times by Jason Van Dyke. I didn't see them at the protest. But now, right now, they want to make black people a part of the fight. When they made us collateral damage in the first place, we are always losing. That's why ICE is raiding buildings where black people are, is because they put them there. They pay for their rent. They pay for their food. They pay for their childcare. They pay for everything, but they didn't put them where they live. They put them where black people live because they don't want to invest into the community. So that's the easiest place to dump a problem. So yes, we can say ICE is being aggressive. Yes, we know that our armed forces are always aggressive more to us. But what we can say is that our politicians did it to us. They should have never allowed them to come over here in droves like they did. And then when they did come over here, they should have never put them and dumped them in black communities, acting like we didn't want economic development, like we didn't deserve better schools and deserve community centers and deserve grocery stores. We deserve better. And our politicians need to act like it. Stop putting everything before us.
Heaven, is it Joe Biden's fault that he pushed the migrant problem on the black community?
First of all, referring to migrants as a problem is a problem. They're human beings. And I believe all human beings deserve health care and education, regardless if they're a migrant or in an underprivileged community or whatever. Everybody deserves to eat. Everybody deserves to have a roof over their head. Everybody should have safety and security within their own space and their own being. I think that the government does this, right? That's what they do. They're going to take all these people and put them in here. You're taking underprivileged people, poor people, people who are fleeing war zones, people who are fleeing economic crisis that we started. Issues that we started in their countries. They're fleeing that to come here. Of course, they're going to want to go where they're getting money. Of course, they're going to want to go where they're getting a house, 6 months, free rent, all this stuff. Of course. Right. But what do? Doesn't matter. As I always say, right or left, it doesn't matter. They're both against us.
And welcome
they're
back.
Making the poor fight the poor. Yeah, I missed y'all. Whew.
For sure. Welcome back. Theory, I know you did a video on this. You want to elaborate on like what you said about this video?
What he's saying is pure bullshit. He's trying to do is he's trying to blame the current politicians for white people, what white doing since the exception of America. The idea that they dumped undocumented migrants in these black neighborhoods just doesn't make any sense because we've been an influx of undocumented migrants. I think the biggest influx of undocumented migrants was the early thousands, and even before then we had a big influx. So where were the undocumented migrants now? If we know that undocumented are people who's coming in with no money, where are they going to end up in? The impoverished areas, and they have black people there. So the idea is saying that black people weren't, not black people, are undocumented migrants outside the black diaspora wasn't protesting with us or wasn't out there for black lives, doesn't make any sense because it wasn't just black people out there. Mind you, Black Lives Matter was taken us by white people at the end of the day. But and still we have to understand that there are different types of people out there. And even then, when we talk about what's wrong, if we determine, if you wasn't with us when this was happening, I'm not going to be with you when this happens. That doesn't make any sense, because then did you ever care? If you was never that person who was facing that, you'd be just like the white man at the end of the day. That's how I see it. And it's bullshit when people sit here and say that undocumented migrants are taking bunch of stuff from us. That doesn't make any sense, because whatever they can get, more than likely we can get. This idea that undocumented migrants got 6 months free rent and shit like that, you do understand that undocumented gives $10 trillion in taxes. Rich people be ducking the motherfucker. Rich people be finding ways to not pay taxes. Undocumented migrants do that. Once they get a job, they pay taxes. So why are we bitching at people who actually pay but the people that dodge it, oh, fuck it, let's let them get rich. That's how I see it.
Doc, what about you?
Yeah, it's Joe Biden's fault. It's Joe Biden's fault. It's Joe Biden's fault. And Rizza Islam taught me that it's our fault too. You want to know why? We the most inclusive. Joe Biden knew we would accept it. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's Joe Biden's fault. Rizza taught me it was part of our fault. We one of the most inclusive communities. Like, you know what I mean? And that's just, you know, how it is. And he did allow an influx of migrants to come in, and I don't think we fixed the low income, low socioeconomic problems in the communities we have in America. And that demographic usually goes to us, unfortunately. So when you know that they're going to come in and they're going to be low income in the beginning, they're obviously going to be in our communities. It's a lot of white low income communities as well, but the trailer park full. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think they coming? They coming with us to the projects. You know what I'm saying? So that I wish it wasn't like that. Like, but nobody's making no, like, you know what I mean? And they do make their own communities in a lot of places, and they're on their own communities, but those are next to our communities usually and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? It's Biden's fault, bro.
I have a question for you, Doc. Oh, real quick, if I can ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
What was going on 2019, 2020? What was the biggest thing that was happening 2020? COVID, right? The government was shut down during that time, right? Including the border, right? And people that were in America that had to leave were forced to leave. So what happens? Think about this for a minute, right? We just had COVID. Every country known to man is doing terrible because of COVID. Inflation is skyrocketing everywhere. Nobody's getting jobs. Well, people are getting, it don't matter. Jobs don't matter, right? So after the government's up and COVID is over and we have to shut down is over, what do you think people are wanting to do? Think about other countries are doing terrible. America finally opens up. There's going to be an influx of people to the country. A president who just became president in 2021 now has to get rid for millions of people, not only to come back, but to now try to jump the border. This is something that never happened. 14 million people happened in 3 years. So I feel like it's unfair for us to say that Biden's fault when at the end of the day we knew that something unprecedented, and it was Trump's that even COVID got even worse during his time because he didn't give a fuck. Millions of people were dying, which is dying under Trump's watch. People left America, Trump left, and then the border, more people came through. And guess what? We don't have enough people to process these people. We don't have enough judges, enough ICE agents during the time. So what happens? People sneak in. And when you have problems, because I'm Haitian. I have hella niggas in Haiti that are struggling. And I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm from the hood too. And with my hood mentality, you do what you got to do to survive. So are we blaming people for trying to survive? Or are we blaming people for being human? Because it is one of the same. That's what I'm hearing.
But part of the issue with that for me is you say it's unprecedented for Biden, and then you demonize Trump for the people dying, but it's unprecedented for Trump too.
This was the first time happening.
He had a playbook.
It was unprecedented. It was unprecedented for everybody.
My thing gave him a playbook for this specific moment. Obama said, "Hey,
my granny had
influenza. Obama had swine flu, and he made a playbook. And
it was never like COVID.
And said, "Look at this playbook." Oh, go ahead, Heaven. My bad. And my bad, dog, for interrupting.
No, you good. COVID was the first of its kind. My thing is, bipartisan. It's going to be unprecedented. It's going to be unprecedented for both sides. It's got to be unprecedented for Trump. It's going to be unprecedented for Biden because both of them having to navigate something that's never happened. And my thing is, people give Trump a hard time about the people who lost their lives during COVID and stuff like that, and how he handled that situation, especially with people in nursing homes and stuff like that. Then we got to give Biden the same hard time when he falls short. That isn't an indictment on him, but everybody's gonna fall short in certain areas. He fell short in that area.
Heaven, I'm gonna let you respond. We'll play this clip real quick. So Americans were affected, and some were dragged out of the house naked.
Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, "Them kids." Fuck the kids.
Heaven, how do you feel about seeing that? And your response to what you was gonna say before?
Okay. I'm just gonna say that right now, what's unprecedented is the amount of money that we've sent to Israel and continue to send to Israel. We could take care of our people with healthcare and whatnot if we stop funding Israel. It's easy. That's the only immigrants I'm worried about, the ones that are in the wrong place, and the place they don't belong, and we're paying them for it to stay in their houses. Holocaust definitions. Sorry, I'm bad. I know. Anyways, I digress. Where's the Epstein list? Did we get that yet? I know I've been out for a minute.
No. Before Theory and not respond.
But them kids, love them kids, protect them kids, all of the kids. It doesn't matter where they come from. Honestly, when it comes to kids need to be protected.
For sure. So I'm gonna play this clip for Theory and Doc.
How you feel? What's up? Move up on me again. Step back. Step back. Moving over. I'm on a public road.
He's not doing anything. You're saying that. No! He's not doing anything. He's not doing anything. No, he's not doing anything.
You need to stand over there.
No, he's not. I'm gonna stand right here. He's not doing.
You stand where
I'm
I
gonna
tell
stand
you to
right
stand.
here. I'm gonna stand right here. I'm gonna stand right here. Stand right there. Don't move, please. Okay? He's not doing anything.
Let me give you my other hand. Now.
Doc, I'm gonna go to you first. In the comments, they said that he called the ICE agent the N-word, but I didn't hear that. But what did you think about seeing how that ICE agent treated that guy?
Hey man, how do we know that guy's not like some illegal immigrant from Ireland or something like that? And he trying to protect his Irish cousins over there. They paperwork bad. Hey man, I've been told all of these years when I got arrested to just shut up and comply. So, and I mostly get that from, my conservative brethren. You know what I'm saying? They say, just shut up and comply. You will figure it out later. You know what I'm saying? He didn't shut up and comply. He should have been. I thought he'd be a little tougher than that to take down. You know what I'm saying? He went down to if he wasn't gonna put up a fight, he should have just backed up.
There, I'm gonna let you respond, but I'll play what Don Lemon asking a black guy about what's going on before you respond.
About the ICE raids.
The who?
ICE raids.
Like
immigration.
I feel good about them.
Yeah, you want them to crack down?
More, yes.
You do?
Yes, been wanting it for years, all my life.
And what about them, like, roughing people up?
Nah, that shit crazy. Don't put your hands on nobody. That's crazy. Don't hurt nobody. Do it the legal way.
But that's what they're doing, though.
That shit ugly. Then no, I don't feel great about that. I mean, don't hurt nobody. At the same time, get them out of here. Get them all out of here. Please and thank you. Trump 4 more years for that.
Did you
just for
support
that?
him?
Just
Did
for
you
that.
vote for him?
No, hell no. I can't vote. I lost my voting rights when I was 22 years old. I apologize.
You went away?
Yeah, for assault and battery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you said 4 more years for Trump?
Just because I want him to concentrate on nothing but immigration and getting them out of here. Just for that.
You don't think they
Nothing
contribute
else.
to the economy at all?
Of course they do. Of course they have. At the same time, think about the people who wasn't able to contribute because the immigrants was there. You know what I'm saying? The people who live here and who was born here, was raised here, who has the same skill set that they have, but wasn't able to do their job because they were there illegally to do it. Yeah. Now the people who's here legally, like me, I guess you, him, can't do their job because them people who are illegal are doing it, which is not cool for us.
But you know they're having trouble filling jobs. They can't find people to fill jobs.
Shit,
they're getting rid of so many people.
Okay, what kind of jobs are they? You know,
all over in the service industry and farming.
Because it's like everybody got to reset. They're gonna reset themselves. That's all they gotta do. Reset themselves.
The farmers are complaining about it, that they want Trump to ease up a little bit because they thought they were just going to do the violent people. They need undocumented immigrants in order to get food to your table.
It's not true, bro. It's not true.
No, that is true.
That's not true, bro. That's not
you don't want to get facts.
There ain't no American born and raised here that won't do the job. That they crazy as hell. I know lots of them in my projects. Trust and believe me.
Well, why aren't they doing it then?
Because they don't have the opportunity because it's not there. They ain't going down there just
no,
get
there
rejected.
are people who can't keep their restaurants open because they're getting rid of their undocumented workers, and they're trying to get workers here that are American born, and they're not taking the jobs. They don't want those jobs.
Oh, they don't want them jobs. Okay, I don't know nothing about that, man. All I know is that I'll get a job. I'll take the job. I do like 15, like the Jamaicans. I have 15 different jobs. You know, I do one of theirs.
Theory, how do you feel about that clip?
I mean, it clearly shows the mindset of the older generation. The idea, the mindset that individual had talking to Don Lemon is the idea that he probably can one day live as ideal as the white man, and the people that are in his way are the undocumented migrants. If we get rid of them, there's going to be more space and more opportunities for us. But I'm confused. At what point was that opportunity ever shown? Saying that 14 million undocumented migrants is making it hard now, shit, what was making it hard then? Because we still having this problem since the beginning. So, and that's the mindset that people having. They're trying to have an excuse for what has happened to us since the beginning, not knowing that this is happening. And the thing is, what's happening to undocumented migrants has been happening to black people since the beginning. People are grabbing them and putting them to jail. We have this prison pipeline. The prison pipeline for a reason is to put black men in prison. The reason why undocumented migrants are getting low jobs is the same reason why black people are getting low paying jobs. Is because those are the jobs that are more likely to black people are the first to get fired, last to get hired. That's the same thing as the undocumented migrants. Black people, the idea is, wait, I was born here, and because I was born here, my opportunity is being taken by people who weren't born here. But the news is you were never going to have opportunity. These migrants, some of these migrants aren't poor. These migrants are paying for these visas, take these high-end jobs. And the reason why we're not getting these high-end jobs is because we never received it. How are you going to blame it on migrants for schools not getting enough funding? How you gonna blame an undocumented migrant for SNAP benefits being removed? None of that is undocumented migrants. That's how the system has always been. And was black people able to get this when undocumented migrants wasn't a problem? We don't have an.
Okay, so we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna talk about
real quick. We're all illegal on stolen land. Can I just say that? Every single one of us is illegal. Every single person who came over here was illegal. I'm just saying. As an Irish Immigrant. Yeah, we're all illegal here.
For sure. Young brother Kevin Lacey took his own life after he was falsely accused of a crime. It was a car crash. Here's a news article.
Lacey was found dead in Houston. Lacey was accused of a hit and run that left one man dead in Lafourche Parish back in December. A month later, he turned himself in and was released on bond. Lacey's attorney says a grand jury was supposed to hear his.
Didn't participate was wide receiver Kyron Lacey. He ran the 40-yard dash, did all the wide receiver drills, but his draft future is still very much in doubt. That's because Lacey faces charges of vehicular homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle stemming from a December car accident that took the life of a 78-year-old man. Lacey.
Doc, have you heard this story about Kyron being falsely accused of this crime and everything, and him being a star at LSU?
Yeah, and it's sad to have a young man take his life, because of these allegations. And I think people just don't realize. People say, he took his life. Well, they were taking his livelihood from a kid work his whole life. He wasn't going to get drafted. He had worked his whole life. He wasn't going to be able to do his dream. And the problem wasn't, they have video evidence now. He wasn't even close to the accident. The officer went up to someone and solicited lying on this young man and literally pointing the finger at him when he had absolutely nothing to do with it. Those are the reports coming out. And that officer should be charged. That officer should be held accountable. He should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And he should go to jail for what he did. It's just a sad thing to see a mother lose a child, a young kid lose his dream, and inevitably lose his life.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a video of the officer. So this is who the officer is. Heaven, there's a lot of people basically saying, it's because it's a white-black thing. How do you feel about it? There's a lot of controversy with blacks and cops. Do you feel like he did this to Kyron because he was black?
Yes, it always is. The police force itself was originally the slave patrol. That's where its roots came from. So, yeah, it absolutely is. This was black and white being a construct that were put into to pit us against each other. It's they use it to their advantage whenever they need to. And this is one of those instances that they do. A majority of police officers are white.
So everybody keep talking about how he persuaded the witness. So I'm gonna play that clip and then I'm gonna have Theory respond.
Sir. So, look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, maybe my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't show what's happening. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? Right. And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature, indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a charger.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, She didn't say what was happening. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side. But there's a bigger problem. I then obtained the actual written statement.
And this is from the gold truck.
This is the gold truck. Now, after the statement we just went through, notice I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number in fairness to the individual who is gold truck number one in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him, and where it says signed, it's not signed, it's refused. But you see, when I have a witness who is the most critical, and he's telling you, I wasn't traveling fast. We know now that he wasn't. The data shows 2.99 seconds before that he was traveling 28 miles an hour. The data shows that. Now he corroborates that. And he goes on to say, I didn't even make a skid mark. That woman behind me, she caused that accident. And you give me this statement that is refused? I got a problem. I got a problem with that. A big one.
Theory, how do you feel about this case? Do you feel like the officer should be charged? Do you feel like the entire police department needs to be changed?
I think this was a case of white tears. I think my theory is the woman that the car wreck was crying more than likely was a white woman, and they needed to place blame on, and they realized that there was a green Charger that was there, and they wanted to place blame on the green Charger. Honestly, this is why we see white privilege, and this happens to black people in such an insurmountable way. And the thing is, this is just one thing that we get to see in light. Just imagine how many other cases like this. Imagine Trey Reed, if we didn't have Colin Kaepernick do that autopsy. These are things that happens probably on a regular basis that they get away with, and he should get prosecuted. And we see that the police system does not work for nobody. And research shows that white people are the main ones getting killed by police officers. Black people basically more likely, but white people are the main ones getting killed by police officers. But they want to see that. Instead, they want to see that these police officers doing their job, when actuality they're not doing their jobs correctly, and they're damaging our neighborhoods, and they're damaging our homes. And this is a sad thing. Like, I was doing research on the individual, and to see that he was going up the draft for 2025, and he don't have the opportunity no more, knowing that the draft is going 6, 7, 8 months now. His name would not be called, even if he had the opportunity. He was the #1 player in LSU, and that took him time to get there. He wasn't an LSU. So to see that taken away from him because he couldn't bear the fact that he's getting accused that he didn't do, that's a black man's night. That's a black man's reality. That can happen to either of us here. That's something that actually happens on a daily basis. It's just something that's a reality that people are seeing on TV.
So I'm gonna play the new footage that came out, because the new footage shows that he wasn't at the accident at all.
So what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyron Lacey come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then Kyron Lacey is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyron Lacey did in fact pass 4 course. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyron Lacey passed 4 course. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how this story was ever painted. Never.
Any part of the district attorney's investigation that talked about Mr. Lacey getting back, I guess we call it, what do you call it, correcting or getting in your proper lane?
Sure, he was back in his proper lane according to their data. This isn't my expert. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So I'm here simply comparing and contrasting the District Attorney's Office with state police in this matter, their investigations. And in that investigation.
Heaven, how do you feel like that this new evidence has came out?
I feel like the corruption starts at the top and works its way down, just like, you know, in the military. When you have toxic leadership, that toxicity, it goes from the top down. And we have had toxicity in America since the founding of America. And it's going to keep getting worse until we turn this around and make some changes as a people, as a nation, not just, you know, looking at race or color or ethnicity, none of that. Like, okay, let's take all that aside because all of us came here wrong. Some of us were here, yes. We're not against you, but we all need to come together because this is crazy.
For sure. We'll play this last video of his mom, then we'll do our final thoughts.
Kyron Lacey's mother, and I will not accept any belated apologies. My beloved son left me 5 months ago, and you can't imagine, at the very end of his life, he still thought everyone hated him. It was an accident that had absolutely nothing to do with him, yet it not only brought him worldwide ridicule, but also destroyed his career and ultimately took his life, all because one man lied to him. Everyone blamed him without knowing that Kyron's car was farther from the crash site than his longest catch distance in college. How could he possibly have caused that accident? If not for that accident, he would still be alive today, playing in the league. The truth has finally come out. But so what? My child will never come back. He left this world full of pain, while those who so easily accused him now want to erase it all with a single word. Do you know? In his final days, he kept asking me, Mom, why doesn't anyone believe me? That kind of despair still echoes in my dreams to this day. At Kyron's funeral, holding myself together with what little strength I had left, I sang one last song for him, I Will Always Love You, hoping my dear son could finally rest in peace.
For sure. It was a great show, Theory. Thank you for coming. What's your final thoughts after you get done talking? We'll play some few more minutes of your Charlie Kirk episode.
My mic died. I want to say, first of all, I appreciate you guys for having me here. This was a great opportunity, but again, listening to Kyron's mother speak and just to hear the idea that no one would ever believed him until this moment, it just raised questions. Why was this evidence brought now when it could have been brought before? Or what's going to happen with this officer? What's going to happen after this? And it's just a sad moment to think. And again, it just runs in my mind that this incident can happen to any one of us as Black men, and to see this happen, and for people to see this, I wonder if people are still going to question how police officers treat Black men after this.
For sure. If you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. Oh, I was muted. If you weren't here at the beginning, Simple Black Theory debated Charlie Kirk, so we're going to play a few more minutes of that. and then everybody else is going to do their final thought.
All right, go ahead. When you hire based on race and not on excellence, you end up compromising excellence to be able to pursue race. We know this with Harvard, University of California. We know this with major companies. We know this with the government. Exactly. DEI, that is affirmative action is DEI philosophy in practice.
You're bringing old shit that's been
allow
struck
me
down.
to finish my statement. They are actively defying the Supreme Court decision, or they're contorting their policies to try to fit their own DEI agenda. But let me ask you a question. If you were to board a United Airlines,
I ain't get the finish. Go ahead.
If you were to board a flight with United Airlines, would you rather have a pilot that is qualified or one that is diverse? Answer the question.
That makes no sense. Why is there two different things? How is it different? When you go to American Airlines,
because in the pursuit of diversity, you sacrifice excellence every time. We know this with Harvard. We know this with Yale. We know this with the military. Every time, every example that we pursue diversity, an institution becomes less excellent. It becomes subpar.
When you go on a plane, do you go to the pilot and ask for their credentials? Or do you believe that the airline did the right thing and hired the right? So you ask.
No, I don't. Actually, I'm starting.
You don't.
Hold on. I start to doubt it. That was my statement. That was my statement.
Right.
My statement was if you're going to go from 4% of the pilots being black to 50% of the pilots to be black, it begs the question: you are going to lower the standards.
So my question is,
you're going to put a square peg through a round hole. You are going to force something that naturally is not happening. And you will all of a sudden be playing a very treacherous and dangerous game when you board a plane. When I get heart surgery or if I board a plane, I don't care about the color of the skin of the person doing it. I want excellence and I want meritocracy.
Yes. So stop talking. Now you're talking. So, right, let's get back to because you're talking a lot.
Final point, then I'll get to the next question.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so again, going back to what you said, because like I said earlier ago, you said, I forgot this is ISU, you basically said that that women are being hired to become pilots, right? Now, first, that's a lie. That's based on a program. Second, correct me if I'm wrong, becoming a pilot is based on skill, correct? It's not based on height. It's not based on physicality. It's based on nothing. It's based on skill, meaning if you're being so what is it based on?
Because based on a now public lawsuit with the Department of Transportation in 2016, 2017, air traffic controllers and pilot standards were lowered in pursuit of diversity.
Not true. I looked at that too.
Because of over 15. Let me finish. Because of 15 whistleblowers that said the standard of air traffic controllers and pilots were being sacrificed in the pursuit of diversity,
You're lying
equity,
again.
and inclusion.
You're lying again.
Okay, I mean people can do their own independent research, and
I've done it, and you're lying.
For sure. Simple Black Theory, you want to tell them where they can find you, where they can watch that full video if they want to see the whole thing?
Yeah, you can actually find me on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Simple Black Theory. All together, Simple Black Theory. Yeah, you can definitely watch that video on the YouTube. Again, guys, I appreciate you guys for having me here. Gare, Doc, Heaven, I appreciate you guys. I enjoyed being here so much.
We definitely gonna bring you back for sure. Doc, what's your final thoughts?
Oh yeah, Black Theory, man, it's good to have you. Definitely gotta have you back, man. Y'all go check him out, follow him. I'm gonna go get a follow and check out some of his thing. And I think the biggest thing that in that clip that I took from part of that clip was he didn't realize that system wasn't put in place for everybody to be judged, just meritocracy. So we had to put these other things in place for people who were qualified, more than qualified, to also get a fair shake. So that's all I got, man. Have a good night, everybody.
For sure. Heaven, what's your final thoughts? You're muted.
Well, thanks for Simple Black Theory. It was good having you. Enjoyed the conversation. You made some great points. At the end of the day, we really just need to realize that it's not left versus right, black versus white, brown, purple, whatever. It's up versus down. And when we're sitting here at the bottom struggling, we have to come together to beat them at the top. So stay focused and don't lose the plot.
For sure. My final thoughts are we do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to Simple Black Theory for coming on. Definitely go follow him. It was great seeing his content. And I love talking about topics like this, because it affects everybody. Tomorrow, I believe Nora's going to be talking about Officer Tatum and Myron Gaines clash over Gaza and U.S. support for Israel. So if you want to hear about that, tune back in. Man Cave, have a great night. Thank you for watching.